Hi y'all, Miss Donaldson here. Today we're going to work on Unit 2 vocabulary. In your iBook, you should have a vocabulary fill-in that was created by Miss Warren. Please make sure that you are filling in your key terms as we go through the video. Whatever is highlighted in red, you guys need to make sure that you're filling in onto the paper. The definitions are written as they are on the fill-in sheet, so it should be easy to follow along. So let's get started. The first vocabulary word is an equation. An equation is a mathematical sentence that contains an equal sign. So here I have an example, which you do not have on your fill-in sheet, but I want to explain to you what an equation was. So on this paper, we have 3x plus 2 equals 5. If you'll notice that I have circled the equal sign. What that means is for an equation, when I solve it, because you solve equations, whatever the answer is, that when I solve it and I get for x, when I substitute it back into my equation, then both sides should equal the same thing. If it is, then I know that it is an equation. So going back again, an equation is a mathematical sentence that contains an equal sign. The next word is inverse operations. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other, or you may know them as opposites. So down here, I have them listed. So if I have addition in my equation, then my inverse is going to be subtraction. If I have subtraction in my equation, then my inverse is going to be addition. Same is true for multiplication and division. If I'm multiplying in my equation, then I'm going to use division for my inverse. And then if I'm dividing in my equation, then my inverse is going to be multiplication. Again, inverse operations, operations that undo each other, and again, they're also known as opposites. The next word is coefficient, which I've been using this term already with the properties. Remember in the properties where I talk about where you have the variable and then you have the number that's right before the variable? That's called a coefficient. So a coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable in an algebraic expression. So the 3 that's underlined is called my coefficient because that's the number that's side by side by that variable or the x. So the number before the variable is called your coefficient. Then on the other hand, that letter is called the variable. A variable is a letter or symbol, but usually in equations you would see them as a letter. It could be X, Y, G, T, S, but that letter represents the unknown or a number. And again, like I told you, that whatever number we solve for and when we plug it back in, it should make my equation balance or equal each other. So again, going back to my example from before with the 3x, that 3 is the coefficient and then the x is called the variable. The next word is constant. Constant is just the number on its own. It's the fixed value. So down here in my example, I have 4x plus 7 equals 5. We've already discussed the 4 and the x. The 4 is the coefficient because it's being multiplied with the variable or the x. The 7 and the 5 are my constants because they're the fixed value found within the equation. Next term is distributive property. That is the sum of two addends multiplied by a number is the sum of the product of each addend and the number. So basically, what you will see is you would have, for instance, off to the side, let me draw an example. You will have like a number inside parentheses, and then you will have a number on the outside. Then you will actually go through and you will multiply the 3 by everything that's inside the parentheses. Then those products I would then go through and then I will add them together. So that's distributive property. The last vocabulary term is like terms. Like terms is an algebraic expression that have the same variable raised by the same power. Only the coefficients are different. So for instance, if I gave you 4x, then 5x, those are like terms because they're x and x. If I had 4x squared, but I left the 5x, then these are not like terms because the first x is raised to the second power. It is not raised to the same power. So these are not like terms. Alright guys, so these are all our vocabulary words as for the equations. Again, if you missed a word or need to go back and hear it, please feel free to go back, rewind, and to get that information. Talk to you guys later.